The letter at the heart of Langston Hughes' A Little Old Letter has a racist message of hate. The poem speaker is powerfully affected by what the letter expresses. It made me turn right pale. This is no ordinary letter. Readers who look at the poem too quickly may conclude that the letter announces the death of a loved one or is a draft notice, arguing that such letters could profoundly affect those who receive them, leaving them right pale. However, the speaker raises the issue of race with the 12th line, "Since I was born black." If the letter were a draft notice or a letter announcing a death, race would not be introduced. The poem's use of pencil should likewise convince readers that this is not a draft notice. Governments don't use pencils when recruiting for the military. Two stanzas refer to the letter as old, which is reinforced by the title. If the letter was received yesterday, in what sense is it old? Racism is an old story. Why a letter instead of a phone call? People who want to express mean sentiments prefer to do it anonymously, and an unsigned letter can hide a bully's identity better than a phone call. The letter is not long, the writing does not spill over to the paper's reverse side, but a message of hate need not be lengthy to be intimidating. Words, even the briefest message conveying intolerance, can hurt and can make one's life feel endangered. Words can leave an emotional wound as devastating as a physical wound made by a gun or knife. Can mere words take a person's life? The last stanza insists that words can hurt that much. It is as if the poet knows that most kids are trained to ignore hurtful words, perhaps growing up with this: "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." The poem counters that. Words can hurt. The letter made me wish I was in my grave and gone. He prefers death to the letter's contents. When one receives and opens mail, lonely is not a typical experience, yet this recipient feels lonely. I never felt so lonesome since I was born black. Possibly the poem speaker was first to move into a neighborhood without others of the same race. When there was a movement in America towards integration, courage was needed by anyone who was the first in the neighborhood. Pioneers of the movement must have been very lonely at times when they met with rejection. The word lonesome is reinforced by the letter arriving without other letters. Nothing is in the mailbox from friends or family, and that compounds the problem. If friendly letters had been in the mailbox that day in addition to the one hate-filled letter, the speaker might have suffered less, feeling not so lonesome. The poem has 4 stanzas. That format might tempt us to look for 4 moods or 4 distinct emotions. Otherwise, the poem might as well be one continuous work of verse. What are those 4 moods or emotions? The first is fright, as established by the phrase, "turn right pale." Second is a feeling of dread, which is related to fright, but is a little different since dread is about fear of the future. The speaker has had a full day to digest the news that someone sent hate mail. The speaker received it yesterday morning. It is fresh enough to make the recipient dread what may be coming. Maybe the person who sent the letter will soon physically attack the recipient. The third mood or emotion is curiosity. The speaker turns to the back of the paper to see if there is more, hungry for additional information, so precautionary measures may be taken. The poet calls special attention to this stanza by using the archaic word writ, that means the diction is suddenly from old times, instead of the standard was written. Fourth and last, the speaker feels lonely. I never felt so lonesome. The poem has alliteration: word writ, born black, little letter, grave and gone, and pencil and paper.